center operated by the largest federal government contractor called Maximus. I have worked at Maximus since 2015 as a Tier 2 Medicare CSR, and I'm a member of the Jones County NAACP. My coworkers and I answer calls for 1-800 Medicare and the Affordable Care Act, also known as the Marketplace. We help families across the country navigate complicated healthcare systems, often during the most vulnerable time in their lives. We know that this work should come with living wage and affordable health care. Instead, too many of us are working for the federal government and struggling to survive. We really enjoy our jobs. However, the daily workload can be very stressful. We feel that our work is very important to our beneficiaries and us. We ask that you all consider our point of view and consider prayerfully our requests. In a few weeks, we will begin our busiest season, which is the opening for Medicare and Marketplace. We are here today to put Maximus on notice. If you want to address our demands, we will prepare for strike. Today, you will have a chance to hear from some of my coworkers about why we're ready to take action to win justice. You will also hear from our strong allies in this fight. To begin, I would like to introduce my coworker, Lakeisha Preston. Because when we move, because when we move, just like that.
Just like that. Amen. That's right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Lakeisha Preston. I worked at this call center in Hattiesburg for about 9 years. My last 5 years here at Maximus. I am an attorney support group of Maximus with Marketplace. I'm a single mother of a handsome 7-year-old boy, and I can tell you it is just not possible to support my family working at Maximus Call Center. We are underpaid, and our health care is just unaffordable. When I, when I first got hired 9 years ago, I had faith that I finally found my dream job, and I really did dream that I was going to be working at the call center. So I love helping people and I love knowledgeable things. So that's why I'm glad to be here. But since then, I've had a child and my health has become a bigger issue as well. Every day is a struggle just to survive at Maximus. Me and my son have moved back with my parents because I couldn't afford my own place. My car note, my car insurance, all along ate up half of my check. In 2019, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks with a walking pneumonia in the lungs. I'm still paying off medical debts for 4 years later because of the high out-of-pocket costs. I also had to take out loans to pay off those debts. I wasn't I wasn't even getting paid for those 2 weeks in the hospital, and bills still need to be paid. And I'm still paying off those loans. It hurts me not to provide on my own for my son a place to stay. And there's no way I could afford childcare at Maximus pay. So I don't know what I'll do without my parents helping me with my child. If I have to pay for childcare, I don't even know if I'll be able to feed my family. I also have to rely on state insurance, Medicaid, Mississippi Medicaid, for my son because it is impossible to afford family health coverage at Maximus on what we make. I'm lucky that I have a supportive family who can help me and and even though I only have one child. Many of my Maximus coworkers struggles just as much as I do, even if they have more children than I do. We do essential work for the federal government and help many millions of Americans access health coverage. We should not be stuck in poverty, struggling just to survive. This wind is crucial. I apologize. This wind is crucial. That's why we're organizing to form a union so we can improve our work condition and provide hope for the best future for our families. But Maximus has opposed us every step of the way. Our demands are simple: a living wage of $25 per hour, affordable health care, and the freedom to form a union without termination. And we're here today to say that if Maximus ignores our demands, we believe we have no choice but to put our phone down and fist up. We are ready to strike during year open enrollment period to win fair treatment and dignity and respect that we deserve. Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome to the podium State Senator Warren Barnett. Senator Barnett is a strong union advocate as the Vice President of the CWA Local 3509. Senator Warren Barnett.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me without this mic held up to me? Well, it is indeed a pleasure to be here again with you all. Most of you all who have been here since the start of this know that I have been right here with you. I have been one of the very few local elected officials that have came out to support you all from day one. And I just want you all to know that I will be here and I will see this through with you all. But not only are we here today to advocate for Maximus and his workers and their ability to be able to have better wages, to be able to feed their families, and not have to always continue to make a decision whether we can buy bread or buy medicine, whether we need to have someone to carry us to work or whether we can afford gas our own self to get to work. You know, those are life-changing decisions for a lot of people. And to hear the young lady that come before this said that she had to move back home with her young son so that they can be able to have somewhere to rest at night. Those kind of things are very important, and it should be important to all of us, and including those who own and operate Maximus. But on top of that, as a CWA member, I would be remiss today if I didn't say that on top of the Maximus thing that we are fighting here today is that we need to pay close attention to this broadband bill. Because if we don't, then broadband in Mississippi would be handled just like Maximus here in Mississippi. If we don't start from the beginning to make sure that the best hiring practices are followed, if we don't make sure that equal pay is followed, if we don't make sure that training is followed, if we don't make sure that these things are done, then we're going to get exactly what we're asking for, and that is shoddy work by shoddy contractors that's going to give us shoddy service. And we don't feel like we need to use federal dollars or state dollars to make sure that people just bring us internet. We want good internet. We want reliable internet. But on top of that, we want the people that are doing the work to continue to stay here and live here in Mississippi to continue to provide those type of services that we need. We don't mind contractors, but we have enough able bodies here in Mississippi to be able to do the exact same work that we could bring somebody else from out of state to be able to do as well. So I ask all of y'all here today to please pay attention to, if it's going to be a better broadband, let's make sure that it's better broadband and not just broadband. That's enough of my soapbox today. But it does give me great pleasure to introduce a young man, and I call him a young man because he's always full of energy from the first time that I had an opportunity to meet him. We reached out to several individuals over a month or so ago to come to a rally just like this. And these individuals was who was running for the position of president of national for CWA. one person responded, not with the email, not with the text message, but they called us back and asked when and what day, what time, and where do I need to be. And they showed up. And Mr. Claude Cummings, we can't thank you enough from choosing to come to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, all the way from Houston, Texas, to show his support. Now, when you have an individual who can put down everything else that they have going on and decide to show up here to help, I think it's worth having an individual like this to serve as our president of CWA. And so it was no question to those of us who are involved in CWA to make the trip to St. Louis to Missouri to make sure that everyone that was there knew how important Claude Cummings was as our next president of CWA. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to some, or to most of y'all, Mr. Claude Cummings, the president of CWA. Thank you.
When we fight, y'all come on with it now. When we fight, all right. Thank you, Senator Barnett, for that great opening there. I certainly appreciate you being here. Maximus workers, give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause. And the President Mike, give Mike a round of applause. President Hodges, thank you, man, for your dedication and work in supporting this call center and the work that we are trying to do here as far as organizing this is concerned. The support has just been absolutely fantastic, and we certainly appreciate it. And listen, I'm happy to be joined today by Congressmember Benny Thompson. Give Benny a round of applause. I'll be bringing him up in a couple of minutes. And also CEO of the NAACP, Derek Johnson. Give him a round of applause. You know, Dr. King made it clear some years ago that the civil rights movement and the labor movement have the same goals. As a matter of fact, he was clear, what sense does it make to be able to march so people of color can sit down in a restaurant and eat, but you don't have the money to pay for a hamburger, right? To pay for the meal. So he understood clearly the importance of the civil rights movement and the labor movement being together. So thank you so much, President Johnson, for being here. All the other representatives that are here, raise your hand, please. All the elected officials that have been here, let's recognize them. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting this effort. And for the very first time, I want to introduce all of you to Scabby. That's Scabby, the rat over there. Some of you did not know about Scabby, but we bring Scabby out to represent corporate greed. He's representing corporate greed of those over at Maximus that are taking thousands and thousands of dollars from the workers that are actually doing the work. Simple as that. And Scabby's going to show up in a lot of other places, so y'all stay tuned. So I'm excited to be here in Hattiesburg. Since I was last here in June, I was elected CWA International President. I'm proud to be here again, standing in solidarity with the federal call center workers to deliver a message loud and clear to Maximus, high-paid executives, and anyone else who is listening. CWA will stand with these brave workers every step of the way until you win living wages, affordable health care, and your union, which will be CWA. For years, the Maximus call center workers have been speaking out about their poor working conditions, low wages, unaffordable health care, no career path, unfair and insulting policies, and surprise layoffs that throw families into crisis. How has Maximus responded to workers organizing their union? By trying to silence you, to deny you a real seat at the table, by retaliating against some union activities and calling the police on workers engaged in union activities. At CWA, we know that when employers try to push workers up against the wall, that workers' strongest power is to go on strike. CWA members have conducted several of the largest strikes in the United States in recent history. And each one of those strikes has led to improvements in workers' lives. Last November, Maximus call center workers led the largest strike of non-union workers in the South. In recent history, when over 500 workers put their phones down and their fists up in the air to demand better. Yet here we are almost a year later, and Maximus continues to treat its workers, who are largely black and Latino women in the South, like they don't matter, like they shouldn't have a real voice on the job, like they are disposable. Maximus' treatment of his call center workers is shameful, absolutely shameful. In the words of Mississippi's own Fannie Lou Hamer, we are here with Maximus workers to say we are sick and tired of being sick, and today we're standing together to put Maximus on notice that workers are prepared to go on strike during the Medicare and Affordable Care Act open enrollment period unless Maximus addresses their demands. Let me repeat that. So I want to make sure that they hear me and that y'all hear me. We are prepared and we will go on strike during the Medicare and Affordable Care Act open enrollment period unless Maximus addresses their demands. And I'm here to deliver a message to you, Maximus workers, that I and all of CWA, I, as your newly elected international president, have your back. And I will stand with you in your fight for living wages, affordable health care, for a real voice on the job, and for racial and economic justice. When we fight, we are going to win in the end. Thank you so much for having me. Now at this time, I have the honor, privilege, and pleasure to bring up someone that I am real close to. I'm talking about not only a real Congress member, but just a real brother who you can talk to, who will stand up for workers, who has a 100% voting record for standing up for worker rights, standing up for civil rights, standing up against those who tried to invade our capital and cause issues a couple of years ago. One who speaks out on issues that are so important to us in this country, and one that has represented Mississippi in a very great way over his many years in Congress. At this time, I bring to you our Congressmember from Mississippi, Congressmember Benny Thompson. Let's give him a round of applause. A round of applause.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I came a long way to be with workers who want to make a difference in the workplace. But you know, you want to be respected in the workplace. And so for a guy who doesn't represent this area, but I identify with your mission. I identify because all you want is the ability to organize and choose the right to have representation in the workplace. And that's what you're doing here at Maximus, and I support you for that. More importantly, for those of you who go to work every day, you expect to be respected and paid a fair wage. Not just a living wage, but a fair wage. Now, what does that mean? In order to get what you want, you're going to have to stick together. And this is part of the process. This company makes $2 billion a year of federal contracts, and they can't pay you better than what they're paying you now. You know, you give people a raise, then you raise the deductible. You give them a raise, then you raise the contribution for the health care. That's not, you know, that's smoke and mirrors, because that doesn't put anything on the table. So part of the reason I'm here is to let you know that there are a lot of people who don't live in the Hattiesburg area who are with you. There are a lot of people who understand this cause. But in unity, there's strength. You have to stick together. Now, in any organizing effort, you'll have scabs out there. Don't worry about that. But at the end, God doesn't like ugly. And if you treat workers wrong, then they're being ugly. And so I'm here on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus. There are 58 of us in Washington. We identify on a regular basis with workers and workers' right issues in this country. So on the other side, just like when those crazy folk tried to take over the Capitol, and they decided that they're going to decide that the election was wrong. Well, guess what? I got to chair the committee, and we spent a year and a half making sure that crazy folk don't ever take over anything again. and the fact that I went to public school in Mississippi. I went to college in Mississippi. I married a Mississippi girl. I got Mississippi children. But the important thing is I have a brain. And you as workers here at Maximus, you have a brain. And if you choose to organize, then that's your right as an American citizen. You know, don't try to let the company say that we know what's best for you. No, that's not right. And so for us to be here today standing in solidarity with you, I want you to know we will talk to Maximus on the congressional side and say, look, you have to treat the folk in Hattiesburg better than you're treating them now. If they choose a bargaining unit, you have to recognize it. And that means that when you come to work, you know how you're going to be treated, you know what you're going to make, you know what the benefits are, and at the end of the career, you know there's other things come, like a pension. And so what you have to have is you have to stick together. I encourage you to stick together. In unity, there is strength. In unity, there is strength. There are a lot of people who understand what you are about. And so now, with this rally today, a lot of other people will know what the issues are. So we support you. We're with you 100%. And I have to applaud your leader, Claude Cummings. Good brother, came all the way from Houston, Texas, to be with you today. And he said, if you support me for president of CWA, I won't forget you. And guess what? He's here in support of what you all are about. Now, other people used to be invited to come, but they were always too busy. You know, now here's the guy that runs the whole operation, and he's here. And so that tells you that you made the right decision by electing him as your president. The other person I'm going to introduce is somebody who is from Jackson, Mississippi, but he heads the largest civil rights organization in the country. And he's here to show his support for it. We did a rally in D.C. on behalf of the workers here at Maximus, and he was there, and he's here in Hattiesburg, but he's the president and CEO of the largest civil rights organization in the world, not just in the United States, in the world, the NAACP. Let me introduce to you Derek Johnson.
Thank you, Congressman Thompson, and thank you, Claude Cummings, for your leadership. But more importantly, for all the workers that are here, give yourself a round of applause. We understand that it's not easy organizing an effort like this in front of the company in which you work at. The courage that you are showing today is the reason why I'm standing here today. Understanding the rights of individuals to collectively bargain is rooted in a civil rights tradition that we must support no matter what. About a month ago, Maximus reached out to our office and they wanted to have a meeting. I said, I don't have any reason to meet with you. The only reason why I would meet with you if you had workers at the table, if you've signed an agreement with them to increase their pay to ensure they had medical health care and a quality of work life that all individuals should be entitled to. For the NAACP, let's be clear. When you strike, we will be here with you to recognize that the reason why we exist as an organization is because they was trying to exploit black workers for cheap labor. The reason why we were created as an organization because they exploited black folks for free labor we call slavery. And at the end of the day, the right of workers is the right of all citizens to be able to collectively bargain, and we must do that in solidarity. Now, as we stand here in this hot sun, in a parking lot behind us that's full, we need you to give your coworkers courage to ensure that they are willing to stand with you. As me in the Congressional Black Caucus and Congressman Thompson, we also need to give the Biden administration a little courage as well to make sure that the Secretary of Health and Human Services review this contract, not renew this contract unless they give workers the rights that you are deserving. For the NAACP, we are here with you. I'm proud that Clarence McGee, our branch president, is here. Mr. McGee, let's give him a hand. I am proud that Claude Cummings served on the NAACP National Board of Directors. But most importantly, I am proud of you to stand here, to stand strong, to fight, because we know when we fight, we will win. Peace and power.
Thank you all. I would like to welcome Cassandra Welchin, the Executive Director of the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable. Ms. Welchin and her organization lead the fight for health care across Mississippi and support us in our demands for racial equality at Maximus. I introduce to you all Cassandra Wilkins.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on talking. Yeah, no justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Thank you all so much for having me here. And I stand in my organization, we stand in solidarity with you. The Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable, we are a statewide organization that works to shift power at the policy table and at the voting booth for advancing women's economic security and civic engagement. The story that we heard of, Nikisha, that is one of so many stories that we hear about black women and brown women not having what they need to take care of themselves and their families. Because we understand that health care is a human right, yes? We know that having livable wages is a human right, yes? Yes. And so for more than 2 years, we launched a project called the Mississippi Voices Project, focusing on access to health care for Black and Latinx women. We talk with Black and Latinx women all over the state who are routinely prevented from having access to quality health care by systems and forces them out of control. Workers at the Federal Call Center, operated by Maximus, are at the intersections of the same healthcare challenges facing our communities. On the one hand, these call center workers help millions of their fellow Americans access affordable health care through Affordable Care Act and Medicare. On the other hand, these very same workers are predominantly Black and brown women, do not have access to affordable health care from their employers. And many struggle, as you have heard, to pay for critical health care because of low wages and high out-of-pocket costs. I'm here to join with the workers. I'm here to join with the workers today and to say this is unacceptable and that our network of hundreds of women across the state stand with you. It is time for Maximus, with its billions of dollars, to meet these workers' demands for living wages, affordable health care, and the freedom to form a union without employer interference. Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable is proud to stand with the workers who are leading the fight for justice at Maximus in Mississippi and around this country. If Maximus will not change its behaviors, call center workers may need to go on strike during open enrollment this year to send a strong message that things need to change. When that day comes, you can count on the support of the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable and our network to stand with you because you deserve justice and we will win. Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce one of my co-workers, Cherie Collier. When we fight, when we fight, when we fight.
Hello, my name is Cherie Collier. I've been working for Maximus Hattiesburg site for 5 years now. I handle calls for both Medicare and the Affordable Care lines, taking calls from families that experience very serious challenges. We are the reason Maximus has been awarded billions of contract dollars. We do the important work. We deserve living wage. We have lives outside the workplace and families that rely on us that we bring to the table. None of these Maximus executives with their $1 million paychecks can look us in the eyes and explain how our low wages are supposed to support an entire family. This is why I'm organizing with my co-workers to win our union and respect. Because when we began talking to co-workers and making demands for change, Maximus refused to listen. And instead, Maximus launched an anti-union campaigns. The company spread anti-union communication to scare us away from organizing, and they even fed us misinformation about joining a union during our work meetings. They tried to discipline me for just putting a sign at my desk. Maximus knows that when we come together, that we have the power. And they are scared of us coming together. So they spread the fear among workers to divide us and keep us under control. Now we know the change we need only will come when we win our union and we can sit down to negotiate a contract. We demand that Maximus stop all the fear, intimidation, interference, and respect our freedom to choose our unions for ourselves. Everything we have ever won as workers, we had to do so through the fight of management. So if Maximus executives are not willing to address our demands and make a real change, we plan to start, they can plan to start making plans on answering phones during open enrollment, because we are ready to strike. Because when we move, just like that. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Now I bring to you all Miss Delilah Evans.
Hello, my name is Delilah Evans. I am a Maximus employee. I do work over at the call center. I've been there, I'm a tier 2, and I've worked there for 10 years since the very first training class when the call center was opened in 2013. Like many of us, I expected that doing federal work that I could receive better pay and better working conditions. But that's not the case. Maximus has kept us in poverty with low wages and poor work conditions. Like many other Maximus call center workers, I am a mother of 3 children, and several of my family members have worked for Maximus. I know firsthand that this company does not care about us. I'm also a 2-time cancer survivor. Through my health challenges, I've had to struggle with Maximus health care coverage, or even just to get time off to take care of myself and my family members. I've had to really fight to get time off for bereavement so I could bury family members who've passed away. This is how Maximus treat a family that has given so much labor and commitment. Now, but yet at the same time, when your grandparents have a question about their Medicare, I'm the one on the other end of that phone. And I walk them through this complicated health system and make sure they get the help they need. I do that day after day. And as call center workers, we prepare to provide access to affordable health care for the entire country. Meanwhile, we do not have affordable health care, and neither do our own families. There is no reason for this, and we deserve better. We've been devalued and disrespected, but now we're fed up. Now, before I was called a call center worker, I worked at the chicken plant in college, made more, better everything. I signed on to be a call center worker because, as I stated earlier, I expected doing work for a federal contractor would provide better pay, better benefits, and conditions. Maximus even promised that their contract would boost our economy with better compensation for workers. Also, but joining Maximus from the chicken plant, I did take a pay cut, and I've been at the call center from the start, and from the beginning, Maximus has kept our wages below the typical wages in every county they placed a call center. Maximus management has made a decision to keep us in poverty. If they don't listen to our calls for better working conditions, we have no other choice but to prepare to go on strike. Phones down. Phones down.
Now, I would like to introduce to you all Miss Anna Flemings. She will close us out. Thank you all for coming out.
Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, most of you may know or may not. My name is Anna Flemings. I am a CSR Tier 2 here at Maximus. I have been here since 2016. Matter of fact, last month made 7 years. Today, you have heard our demands. At this time, I would like to call forward President Johnson, Ms. Welton, Congressman Thompson, and of course, President Cummings to come and stand with me as I close out this rally for 2023 for Maximus workers. Okay, so everyone that's here, please look to my left and to my right. These individuals, President Johnson, Ms. Welton, Honorable Congressman Thompson, and of course our President, newly elected Claude Cummings. Remember this day on September 7th, 2023, these individuals came and are supporting us as we organize and fight Maximus.
Right.
Please remember, when we fight, we win. And this is a clear message to the bosses of Maximus. Please meet our challenges and what our requests that we are asking you for. It will help us support our families. And please remember, when unity comes together, we unionize. So again, we would like to thank each and every one for coming. Now, I do have a few expectations for all members who are Maximus workers or people to help us continue this. We are calling on all Maximus workers to go and join the strike pledge if you have not, and also encourage your other co-workers to sign. Also, we pledge for our many supporters and allies that wants to help and get behind us to support our Solidarity Fund, which helps us when we go on strike. Now, please remember to follow us on social media, call Workers United, and visit our website. If you have any questions, please reach out to any committee, organizing person, or any person. We are here. And remember this, when we move, they move. Just like that. And when we fight, we win. Thank you, and you all have a great day.
One other thing, we have some other unions that were here.
Okay, and can we please acknowledge
Machinists were here.
the machinist union?
There he is right over there.
Okay, thank you guys for coming. Most of you I see to the AT&T or Bell South union workers.
Any other unions?
And any other unions, please stand. Thank you so much.
Public sector's here.
Public sectors. And again, we definitely appreciate your support in this effort with us. Again, thank you so much for coming. We understand that it is hot today in Mississippi, but on hot days, we win.
That's right.